Okay, so I've wiped the car down with waterless wash, and then I used the same waterless wash to actually clay it. This is a 3D nanoskin towel, but it utterly failed the baggie test. When you're buying your baggies, look for these ones, the full top. There's no reason to buy the ones with the built-in zip, you know, like a Ziploc. You're just gonna throw them away. But I thought I'd go ahead and show you the swirl level. Now, this isn't the worst any of us have ever worked on, but the entire thing is swirled out. We're talking, you know, all the way up to the edges, you know, so definitely she needs paint correction. There we go. Anyway, so that's what she's in here for today, is paint correction and a ceramic coating. A couple things I thought I'd show you about these classic cars that can be kind of tricky. One is I'm going to raise the hood up, okay, raise it up to get the section of paint between the fender and underneath the stainless steel trim. Otherwise, it gets kind of tricky to buff this, so just lift the hood up when you go to buff it. If they've got pinstriping on this rolled metal design here, you got to be careful you don't buff this off. When you get up here, there's some tight areas on this car, like around this squirter here. And as you can see, this is all swirled out and scratched up here. Chris Metcalf gave me this cool little tool here. Attaches to your Pixie. It's like a little Dremel almost. And this will allow me to get up here and get into most of the tight areas fairly easily. So that'll work out pretty good. This panel here is actually a little bit complicated on these to buff out. This is called welting. It's a gasket that goes between the fender and the body, and you don't want to tape this off because when you pull the tape off, you'll tend to pull the outer skin off with it, and then you're screwed. You also don't want to cream out the compound and polish because then you try to get that off, you can screw it up also. This emblem here, I already looked, it will not come off easily. It has spring clips holding it on. Trying to pry it off, it could come off, but it could break the little studs that hold this on. The rest of this down here, this can be a little tricky to get into to buff out. This section right in between here, very tight, hard to get to. Back to the welting. This is in really good shape, so I don't want to mess it up. To do the trunk and the hood, what I do is I lift it up, and then this is at standing height. And I can buff all this out, get around the license plate frame. I can also get in here and buff all this out fairly easily. Sargent stripe tail lights. And for this, I'm just using the tube off my Ego blower, but you could use a 2x4 or stick or something to prop this up while you're buffing on this part. That's about it. You know, this thin spot in between the rain gutter, the stainless steel, you got a pinstripe. All this is real delicate, machine buffing. Getting in around here ain't too bad. Got to be careful of any graphics. I don't want to take his graphics off. The exterior hinges, you know, getting in and around these, a little bit tricky, but not too bad. Anyway, just a few tips for anybody moving forward that has to polish one of these classic cars out like this. You know, they're not impossible, but a little bit of experience helps, so maybe some of those tips will help.